There is a very specific scent that has been engineered to make you feel successful. We call it the new car smell. But to anyone who understands the brutal laws of wealth, that smell is actually the scent of money burning. It is the olfactory signal that you have just made the single most destructive financial decision of your life. Most Americans view a $800 monthly payment as a normal part of existence. They see it as a membership fee for the middle class. But I am here to tell you that your brand new SUV is not a trophy of your hard work. It is a symptom of a deeper financial poverty that is keeping you on a hamster wheel. We live in a culture that values looking rich over actually being rich. We are a nation of people driving $3 million liabilities while our bank accounts are gasping for air. If you are someone who feels a knot in your stomach every time that auto draft hits your account, listen closely. Today we are going to perform a brutal autopsy on the American obsession with the automobile. We are going to look at the predatory math of the 84-month loan and the terrifying reality of what your truck is actually costing your future self. Let us start with a hard truth that nobody in a glass office at a dealership will ever tell you. A car is not an asset. An asset is something that puts money into your pocket while you sleep. A car is a rapidly depreciating consumer good that takes money out of your pocket every single second you own it. The moment you drive that gleaming machine off the lot, you hit what experts call the depreciation cliff. In the first 60 seconds of ownership, you lose 15 to 20% of the value. Imagine if you bought a stock for $60,000 and 1 minute later it was worth $48,000. You would panic. You would call it a scam. Yet we do this voluntarily with our vehicles every few years. We celebrate the loss of $12,000 by posting pictures on social media. We have normalized the destruction of wealth because we have been conditioned to crave the status that comes with a high monthly payment. The auto industry has mastered a psychological trick called the payment trap. When you sit down to negotiate, they do not want to talk about the total price. They do not want to talk about the interest rate. They only want to ask one question: what monthly payment are you comfortable with? This is where the trap snaps shut. By focusing on the payment, they can stretch the term to 7 or even 8 years. They can hide a high interest rate inside a number that feels manageable on a paycheck-to-paycheck basis. You are not buying a car. You are buying a lifestyle on credit, and you are paying a massive premium for the privilege of looking successful to people you do not even like. Let us talk about the high earner, not rich yet demographic, also known as the Henrys. These are people making six figures who feel broke because their driveway is filled with depreciating metal. They justify it by saying they deserve it because they work hard. They say they need the safety and reliability for their families. But reliability and luxury are not the same thing. A 4-year-old Toyota is just as reliable as a brand new one, but it costs 30% less. The difference between those two choices is often the difference between a dignified retirement and a desperate one. Now let us look at the ghost wealth you are destroying. This is the part that should make you feel physically ill. The average new car payment in the United States is now hovering around $800 a month. If you are 25 years old and you commit to that payment for the rest of your working life, you are choosing a car over $2 million. If you took that same $800 and invested it in a simple index fund like the S&P 500, in 40 years you would have over $2.7 million. Let that sink in for a moment. Your Ford Explorer or your BMW is not just a car. It is your beach house in retirement. It is your ability to retire 10 years early. It is the freedom to tell a toxic boss to take a hike. When you see a luxury SUV on the highway, do not feel envy. Feel pity. That driver is stripping the gears of their own future to signal status in the present. They are trading their freedom for a heated seat and a fancy badge. We have also entered the era of the negative equity trap. Because people are rolling over loans so frequently, they are trading in cars that are worth less than what they owe. The dealer simply rolls that debt into the new loan. I have seen people paying $1,200 a month for a car that is only worth $20,000. They are carrying the ghosts of every bad financial decision they have ever made in their trunk. They are underwater, drowning in interest, driving a liability that could be totaled tomorrow. So why do we keep doing this? It comes down to fear and ego. Car companies spend billions of dollars to convince you that you are a bad parent if you do not drive a tank. They prey on your protective instincts. But safety technology has plateaued. A 5-year-old vehicle with modern airbags and sensors is statistically as safe as a new one. You are paying a 50% premium for a 1% increase in safety. That is a bad trade. The second factor is the status signal. You cannot wear your retirement account to a high school reunion. You cannot park your investment portfolio in front of a fancy restaurant. But you can park your car. The car is the ultimate public display of wealth for people who have no actual wealth. It is a mask. It is a way to say I have made it when the reality is you are one layoff away from the repo man. There is a smarter way to live, but it requires a massive ego death. It requires you to be the person in the office parking lot with the older car. It requires you to opt out of the arms race. I call it the sweet spot strategy. The steepest part of the depreciation curve happens in the first 3 to 4 years. By year 5, the car has lost more than half its value, but it still has 80% of its life left. This is the arbitrage opportunity for the wise. Let someone else take the $20,000 hit for that new car smell. You swoop in and buy the asset at a deep discount. And then you drive it until the wheels fall off. You keep that car for 10 years. For the last 5 years of that period, you have 0 car payments. That is the golden period. That is when you take that $800 a month and you shovel it into your brokerage account. That is when you build a real nest egg that provides real security. If you must finance, you should follow the 23-8 rule. Put at least 20% down. Finance for no more than 3 years, and the total payment must be less than 8% of your gross income. If you run those numbers on a $60,000 truck, you will quickly realize that you probably cannot afford it. The math will force you into a reliable used sedan, which is exactly where you belong if you want to become wealthy. The goal is to stop loving your car and start loving your freedom. Stop loving the scent of off-gassing plastics and start loving the smell of a growing net worth. The next time you feel the urge to upgrade, calculate the opportunity cost. Ask yourself, is this shiny metal box worth $2 million of my future? The answer is always no. True success is not measured by the car you drive. It is measured by the options you have and the peace of mind you feel when you put your head on the pillow at night. Liquidity is the ultimate luxury. Freedom is the ultimate status symbol. Do not let a car payment steal your future. If this message challenged you, share it with someone who is about to sign a lease. Help them escape the trap. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.